Okay, good morning, my students. Today we are here again, and we are going to look at this topic on the board right here. Question tags. Question tags. All right. Remember that last time for the JSS3 class, we treated some topics we did auxiliary verbs. We also treated species. Today we are going to look at question tags. And the question is, what is question tag? You there watching this video, what is question tag? Today we are going to look at the meaning of question tags, how they are used. We are also going to look at the rules of question tags. At the end of this lesson, we expect that for those of you who have been struggling on how to correctly tag questions or answer questions on question tags, the trouble we see is end today. Alright, what are question tags? The word tag is something that you attach to a piece of equipment, or in some other meanings, it can be a name that you attach to somebody's personality, maybe a nickname. Companies also sometimes attach what we call tags to their products, bearing their names. But we are not talking about all those tags. What we are talking today is the question tag. What is the question tag? Most times, when we make ordinary statements, at the end of those statements, we try to emphasize what we have said on one hand, or we try to reaffirm from our listeners that we are correct or maybe not. And that is where tags come in. Let's see the definition of question tag on the board. A question tag is a phrase attached to the end of a statement in order to turn it into a question. You have made a statement. Normally, statements do not carry the question mark, this sign, because they are statements. But when you want to turn your statements into a question, in order to elicit either emphasis or elicit confirmation from your audience, you use a tag. And it's a short phrase, just a short statement, which you put at the end of an ordinary statement in order to turn it into a question. Tags normally have features. There are some things that we consider before we can form tags. And today we are going to look at some of those things. For instance, how do we make tags? How do we do them? Remember, every statement must have what we call subject. Subject, whether it is a noun or a pronoun. Now, what do tags do? Tags repeat the subject with a verb. The verb will be any of the verbs to do or the auxiliary verbs. For instance, look at an example here. He is fine. This is a statement. This is a statement. He is fine. This is what we call a subject. It's a pronoun, a third person singular pronoun. We can make it a noun. We can say Obi is fine. Now, these two sentences are the same. They are both statements of fact. He is fine or Obi is fine. Now, how do we turn these statements into a question using question tag? This is what we do. We say that the verb in the statement is repeated with a pronoun. So, whether the subject is a noun or not, what you are going to use to construct the tag is a pronoun reflecting the subject. If the subject is already a pronoun, it is what you have to repeat. If the subject is a noun, you check what appropriate pronoun to replace it with and use it in the tag. Let's see how we can construct tag for this statement. So we add, he is fine, we put our comma, isn't he? Isn't he? Obi is fine. We do not consider that this is Obi a noun. The tag says that it must be a pronoun. So what do we say again? The same thing, isn't he? Isn't he? Tag. When we take the operator and then we use a verb and we put it at the end of a statement to get our tag. Alright. As we go further, naturally, there are several rules when we are talking about tags. What are these rules? Tags have rules. There are definite steps to follow when answering a tag question or when tagging a question. Okay? We say that an affirmative statement takes a negative tag. A statement which is in the affirmative, when we talk about a statement being in the affirmative, it is a statement which is in the positive, which doesn't use the words no or not. An affirmative statement or a positive statement takes a negative tag. You do not use a positive tag for a positive or an affirmative statement. Let's give you an example. Example. We are rich. This is a positive statement, or what you can call an affirmative statement. We are rich. Yes, we are. So, if you want to put a tag to this statement, to this affirmative statement, you use a negative tag. And a negative tag is a tag that contains not or nt. Okay, let's show you what you mean. We are rich aren't we? You see? You cannot say we are rich and then you go ahead to say are we. It will be wrong grammatically. Alright? Okay, let's see other examples. He traveled to Lagos. This is a positive statement to an affirmative statement. He traveled to Lagos. To Lagos. He traveled. We didn't say he did not. We said he traveled. He did travel to Lagos. So how do we put the tag? We use a negative tag. And what is negative tag that we have to attach here? Didn't. Didn't he? It's like saying, did he not? He traveled to Lagos. Did he not? Didn't he? That's it. We are rich. Are we not? The same as saying, aren't we? You see? An affirmative statement takes a negative question tag. That's the rule number 1. Are you following? Okay, let's see the second rule. Naturally, we cannot say a negative statement. A negative statement takes an affirmative tag. Affirmative tag. Excuse me. Alright? When your statement is in the negative, remember we said that a negative question is a question that uses nouns or shortened form of it expressed. It is a negative statement. Such sentences or statements are negative. And we said that the question tag that you attach into such a statement in order to turn it into a affirmative, positive question tag. Such kind of tags do not have nouns, whether the shortened N apostrophe T or NOT. It doesn't have it. Okay, now let's show you an example. Example of negative statements and their affirmative question tags. Now, we are not going to touch our previous examples. Let's consult a new one. Ada did not prepare supper. This is a negative statement. Ada did not prepare supper. She didn't prepare supper. It's in the negative. She didn't do it. Ada did not prepare supper. Now we say that a negative statement takes an affirmative tag or a positive tag. So what do we put here? We now say, did she? Did she? See? You can have some other examples. Mr. Kunle does not like tea. This also is a negative statement. Mr. Kunle does not like tea. He doesn't like tea. Now, what kind of tag should we put here? Does he? Positive statements to negative tag. Negative statements to positive tag. Or what we call an affirmative statement to negative tag. A negative statement to an affirmative tag. Now, so far so good. We thank God. There are some other rules that we are going to look at as we are talking about the question tags. But remember what we said about the question tag, that it is a short phrase which we attach to an ordinary statement so that we can turn that statement into a question. We do this in order to emphasize what we have said, or to have our listener or our audience confirm or refute what we have said. If it is through that question tag that somebody can say, yes, this is so, or no, this is not so. That is one of the basic significance of the question tag. Now let's look at some other rules that follow the question tag. I'm going to wipe this thing. I hope you are taking it. And I'm going to wipe this one too. I hope you don't mind. Okay. Now look at another rule of the question tag. Verbs used in the statements maintain their tenses in the tag. See? So it will be wrong for you, with this rule, it will be wrong for you to say, he is here, wasn't he? See? When you use a verb in the present tense in a statement, or when you use a verb in the past tense in a statement, remember, when you are forming the question tag, you have to maintain the same tense of the given verb in the question tag. Let's show you an example. Example. He has not arrived yet. He has not arrived yet. See? You don't have to say had he. It will be incorrect because this is the verb you are looking at to form part of your question tag. So what do? He has not arrived, has he? Or he has arrived already, comma, hasn't he? See? Negative statement, positive tag, positive statement, negative tag. Okay. Now, see another thing with question tags, so that when they want to pull your feet in the exam, in your BECE, you stand firm. Most verbs that are used in statements or in tags, rather, most verbs, apart from the verbs which we call the modal verbs, please pay attention. You know, we have two main types of verbs. We have the main verb and we have the auxiliary verb. Auxiliary. I hope I got that correct, but that's not what we are talking about. Okay, this auxiliary has what we call both the primary and the modal. Now, when you are talking about tagging, what the verbs that you mainly use mostly to tag are the verbs of the auxiliary and not the main verb. Both the primary and the modal verbs they are the verbs that we use. Most sentences that contain the primary and the modal verbs, we use them to form tags. All statements that contain, or most statements that contain the primary and the modal auxiliary verbs, we repeat them in the tags according to their tenses. We maintain their tenses as given in the main statement. Other verbs now. We use verbs from the verb to do. Remember that we have verbs to be, which contain the is, was, are, and so forth. We have the verb to do, which contain the does, do, and did. And also have the verb to have. So, any other verb in a sentence changes the tags with the verb to do. Let me give you an example of what we mean. Alright, so we say he is here, you see? Isn't he? They traveled to Lagos. You see? Now, can we say traveled there or traveled there? You can't say that, but it's easy for us to say he is here, isn't he? But you can't say they traveled to Lagos, traveled there. You can't say that. So what do? We use one of the verbs to do as in consonant with the tense. So what do? Didn't there. Alright? They cook every day. Cook, we can't say cooked there, but we pick the verb from, and we say don't they. That's what we mean. Alright, because of time, I don't think that we are able to exhaust all the nitty-gritty of the question tag. But I believe that so far so good that with this you will be able to find your way in the labyrinth of exams questions that contain the tag questions. Okay, and remember, if you have listened to me very well, you will see that my tone has always been coming down at the end of these tags. The tags use falling tone. Has he. Not has he. Not hasn't he. It hasn't he. It's called falling tone. Didn't there. Not didn't there. The tags, they end with falling tone. Okay. I think that this, as you can see, this is not a conventional classroom. We're just trying to make sure that students we are up to speed. So I will stop here today. If peradventure we are going to still continue with that, I will now enter fully into it on other aspects. Meanwhile, I'm going to leave you with a few exercises to do. We have not been getting your responses, but we've been seeing signal that you guys have been viewing these things online. Thanks for that too, but we need to get your responses in order to give you a feedback. Now let's give you some exercises to do. So now look at exercises. The question says attach the appropriate question tags to the following statements. He travels every month. Mr. eBay killed a big goat. God is faithful. We can't move this car. You can do this. So try and get the correct tags to turn these statements into questions. And when we see next time, we continue. Thanks and bye.